Hello everyone, Giltar here with Model Kit Review. This time we'll be looking at the 1:144 scale high-grade universal sentry MS-18E Kampfer. Now I'll be splitting this review into two parts. The first part of the review I'll cover the model kit details, accessories, and articulation, and then in part two I'll cover the pros and cons and my final thoughts. Now this is a model kit that retails for about 1,800 yen, or essentially about $19 to $20 American. It was originally released in August of 2008, so it's a fairly recent model kit. And as you can see here, it's about average size in terms of its height. The Alex here, and both the RX-782 and the Alex Gundam, the RX-78 NT1, are supposed to be 18 meters tall. And the Kampfer is 17.7 meters tall. And I think it's pretty much accurate. The Alex and the Kampfer are supposed to be relatively the same sort of height, but the Kampfer really outdoes it in terms of bulk, stockiness. Not only because of the proportions, but all the extra weapons it can equip. However, the Alex has its body armor that I'll show in its review at some later point. So I'll just remove the Alex and the RX-782 here, now that we've gotten the sort of scale comparison out of the way. Now, with the model here, as you can see, it's loaded up with accessories, and I haven't panel lined it or painted it because or even applied any stickers, because I plan on giving it a full paint job. I want to paint all of my model kits, and because right now I don't have any indoors, sort of spray paint equipment like a spray booth, especially, I'm going to wait until late spring or early summer before I even start painting anything at all. So that's why I haven't applied anything to it. But on the other hand, I like to review my models with nothing applied, so people get an idea of what to expect, from essentially a raw, naked build, so that you guys know that, well, for example, it comes with a sticker sheet and a marking seal sheet, foil stickers, and it has a mono eye, some stickers I think for sights on weapons, a white stripe for the shoulder spike here, and this other white part I think for another part of the Kampfer. So what I like about this is that it actually gives the marking seal and foil sticker sheet its own packaging, so that it sort of keeps it in tip-top shape, so that over time it doesn't the stickers don't get unpeeled somehow and get frayed. This keeps them in really good condition. Now, it's hard for me to show, but the marking seal sheet, maybe it's better to show the instructions. The marking seals are really for a couple of points. For example, right here it's pointing out like a few Xeon symbols or emblems for the chest and helmet or head parts. So that's what all the marking seals are really for, just for the Xeon symbols. Now, as far as accessories go, as you can see, maybe I should just remove them, but the two, what are called giant bazookas, can be mounted on the backpack. And they're mounted via these little clips that plug into polycap ports. It's a simple peg that clips in, and then it has a grip here where you can actually clip it to a groove on the giant bazooka, and just clips right in. And then because it can swivel on the back, you can position them differently on the backpack. We also get a shotgun, which can clip onto the back here, and I'll just remove that. And like the giant bazookas, the shotgun has its own assembly sort of connection clip. It has a rectangular peg that goes into a rectangular slot or a port, and also it has a similar system in the middle here where it's grooved to clip onto the shotgun. And then finally we've got the Sturmfausts, or not finally, but the ones at least that are clipped on. The Sturmfausts on the legs, and again these also have these little clips that you just slide onto the Sturmfaust handles and then peg them into ports on the knee section of the Kampfer here. Now, going over the accessories, well, actually there's a couple of other things. Actually, it does come with a pair of beam sabers. The blades are cast in a clear yellow plastic runner, and the hilts themselves are typical cylindrical beam saber hilts. I'll show them here. It's this piece here. Now, the reason why I didn't remove the beam sabers yet, just because simply there are so many accessories for the Kampfer, and I've only removed the accessories from the runners that can be sort of attached or clipped onto the model. I don't want to have a whole bunch of different accessories sort of loose and possibly lost, so I'd rather keep them on the runners until I get to the painting stage. Another accessory for this model kit is the chain mine, which is basically what the name implies. It's a chain weapon that uses mines on it. On the runner, you have different bits that are basically mines. Every pair, you can assemble them together to create one mine unit, and then they attach to a thin, flexible wire sheathed in a plastic or a rubber hosing, basically, here. And just like with the beam sabers, because they don't really have a way to attach to the model, I decided to leave them off. But for a better look at the chain mine, here you go. There's the chain mine and all the other weapons. Now, the shotgun is pretty neat. It's a really nice looking accessory. Yutaka Izubuchi is the mechanical designer for this mobile suit. This originates from War in the Pocket, Mobile Suit Gundam 80, and as such, his, influence in the designs are more, real world influence. So the shotgun looks essentially like a large, upscaled military style shotgun. Some very nice details on it. A lot of grooves and sculpted detail that allow for accenting with panel lines or dry brushing with paint. I like how the grip, you can't make it out on my camera, but the grip has some nice indentations there just to make the handle a little more visually interesting. Now, the shotgun comes with two grips, sort of the plain one you saw previously, and this one with a stock at the back and the plain handle on the front. Now, the reason why you wouldn't want to have just the stock grip, because, well, basically when you clip it onto the back of the Kampfer, if you had the stock on it, it would stick out to the side about this much, so it just sort of gets in the way. So that's why you have the two grips for it, I guess. Now, moving on to the giant bazookas, very, very nice designs. Again, more in tune with real-world weapons, but still quite, fantastic in terms of their design. The handle itself here, it has a swivel, so it can swivel in and out. A lot of nice details here, and again, it's more, in a way realistic in design, but still has a fantastic element to it that makes it nicely sci-fi. Now, I like how the side here has a sort of a scope display unit, so that's pretty nice. The Sturmfausts are pretty much like most other Sturmfausts you see, just basically one-use rocket-propelled grenade launchers, essentially, I believe. Pretty plain, but again, some nice sculpted details, and you could do some panel lining if you wanted to. And so I think that does it for the accessories. Now, moving on to the articulation. The Kampfer is pretty good, despite its bulky proportions. It has a lot of many points of articulation. Starting off with the feet have really nice range of movement. It can go back and forth quite a bit, and it can also wiggle to a good degree, and you can get some really nice wide-legged poses with the soles of the feet flat on the ground, so that's a nice bonus for this. For the knees, they are double jointed, but because of the rocket thruster part of the back of the thigh, it can only bend not even 90 degrees, but you don't need something like this to bend that much, and it can actually bend a little forward a little bit, so it's due to the double jointed nature of the knee connection. The hips are in, I think, ball joint connections, so you can get some nice forward movement and back movement because there really is no skirt armor. What replaces the skirt armor in this design are the thigh and back of the thigh large thruster units. Now, the thrusters themselves actually do have some articulation, do have some slight wiggle because they are connected to polycap parts that are hinged. The waist itself allows full rotation, nothing to obstruct it, no skirt armor. It does wiggle back and forth and side to side, back and forth to a greater degree. The shoulder itself has full movement. It's a little more difficult when you have the giant bazookas up there because they may get in the way, but without them you have full rotation. They go back and forth and up and down, well, not up and down, but back and forth quite a bit. The shoulder armor itself is on a separate hinge, so they do have independent articulation. You can rotate them and swivel them. The elbows themselves are double jointed, are they double joint? I can't remember. I think they're single joints, but they allow almost a flush bend at the shoulder, so they're quite nice for articulation. The hands are on ball joints and into sockets, so they do have wiggle and rotation. And finally, the head itself has full rotation, up and down movement, and that's due to the neck. The neck component here that we've seen in pretty much all the model kits after the Yak-Doga in the high-grade Universal Century line have these really full, nice-looking full neck joints, basically. So that's pretty much it for part 1 of the review. I'll be back in part 2 with the pros and cons, any details I might have missed, and my final thoughts. So thanks for watching.